We've all been out in that hustle and bustle, running here, running there, and then all of a sudden, oh, something's just not working right on the body. And if you do not know exactly how that happened, meaning that you're trying to create, maybe it happened while I was sleeping, maybe I sat wrong, maybe I did this wrong. If you're not sure, most likely that problem's been there for a long time. And with today's show, we are going to talk with a wonderful doctor about how these structural problems can be corrected. I'm Dr. Jason Alviene, and this is Structurally Sound. I want to welcome one of my mentors, Dr. Susan Mitchell. So a lot of the things that I do, and I know I was actually a part of her coaching, and she taught me quite a bit, and it's great to be able to actually return the favor and have her out here. Welcome, Dr. Susan.
Thank you so much.
Man, it's been a while, and it's just great to have you on here, and we're going to learn about a lot about what you do. So we're going to start out. You as a person, you're obviously a chiropractor. If we haven't alluded to that yet, how does one become a chiropractor? How did you decide chiropractic?
So I love my story and that of how it happened because I had no intention of being a chiropractor. I started seeing a chiropractor when I was 16 years old. I had been in a car accident. I was suffering from migraine headaches, chronic pain, fatigue, etc. And my mom took me to a chiropractor. I was excited because whenever I had a doctor's appointment, that meant I got to drive the car to school. So I was super happy. And that's really all it was to me. I got rid of my headaches. I didn't really think another thing about it. Felt great, but I was like, oh, okay, great. So, but I ended up working for that chiropractor at his front desk as I was going to school to be an accountant. And over the course of the year, I saw all these miracles, right? People are crawling in and then they're walking out, and kids no longer needed allergy shots, and asthma symptoms were going away. Just bedwetting, all of these things were happening. And I'm like, wow, but I never thought that I could be capable, of being a doctor. So one day this baby comes in, and I've never seen anything like this before or since then. This poor mom was the most frazzled, exhausted thing I'd ever seen in my life, and told me that her baby had been crying nonstop since birth. Like literally this baby for weeks had slept 15 minutes at a time, and baby's screaming. And so we get her right back. She gets adjusted and she immediately melts and stops crying, and scared me, if I'm honest. But it was amazing. And she slept for 17 hours after her first adjustment. So I was like, I got to do this. I've got to be part of this on a bigger level. So I called Palmer Today. They didn't have the internet back then. So I didn't know how to use it. And I just celebrated last week was 25 years in practice. So, and I've been taking care of babies of all ages since then. So I feel very blessed.
Yes. And from what I've seen and know of you, you have a very large practice in Bloomington, Normal, Illinois. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes. Right next to State Farm.
Yes. Right.
Now, when I was looking through that, you have 4 other docs in your office?
Correct. I have 3 full-time and then one that helps out occasionally. Yep. So, and then I guess myself, I'm in there as well. So I would be the 4th full-time.
Yeah, that's a lot of patients that are coming through if you need that many docs in the office. So tell us about what it's like for a patient to come to your office for the first time.
So our first visit is really just about finding if they're in the right place, right? So especially with all of our experience, we know what we get great results with and what we don't. So it's really just finding that, doing the exam, having a consultation, and finding out exactly what is the cause and what's going on in there. And if they're in the right place, great, we go forward. If not, then it's our job to find who is the right place for them. And it's just really about, the most fun part for us is educating patients, because so many people don't know that their bodies are designed to heal themselves. They just think that, this symptom equals this pill. And, we joke in the office all the time of, if you have a headache, it's not your body telling you you're deficient in ibuprofen. It's letting you know there's a problem, right? And so that's true for any symptom. Like our symptoms are our warning signals from our body. And so rather than just cover them up or ignore them, then we say, like, yeah, let's listen to that. Let's find the cause. And then, of course, hopefully remove the cause.
Yeah, I mean, I brought that up with my opening story today. There's people that are just like, all of a sudden they start to have something not work right on their body, but they can't say that they fell down the stairs or they got hit by a car, like in your case, or something happened. Now, not that those issues can't be helped through chiropractic, but most of the time people aren't sure how it happened.
Yes. And that's the most frustrating part, right? It's like, you should at least get to have a good story. Like, I danced all night long, or I something, but that is the truth. I mean, you hit it on the head. Of so many times we have traumas, small or big, I mean, even just sitting at a computer for 8 hours a day is a trauma to the body, and it builds up over time. And so that's, we learned in school, and I think it's valuable information, is you can get subluxated by the 3 T's, right? So thoughts, traumas, and toxins. And so we don't think about that. We think that the only way we can get into trouble is if we have a fall or we have a trauma. And especially now, oh my goodness, the thoughts right now, the emotional stress that we're going under with all the craziness in our world is just, I don't know if you're seeing this in your practice, but it's so crazy. And even the kids are feeling it. I mean, people just are not holding their adjustments like they used to. So I think we don't value that as much, or our poor diets and the toxins in our environment, it's all taking a toll on our body. And we've got to start paying attention to this.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen a lot of people, not just with that, but their office has now become their bed, couch, dining room table, and their body position, they're not moving. They're moving even less because they're home.
Yes.
And I've been seeing a lot of people come into the office on going, I'm not sure what's going on. I'm just not comfortable. And when you look at the lifestyle, it's the repetitive use of the body in bad positions.
Absolutely. It's just crazy what we're seeing these days. Yep.
All right. So now you've brought that person in, you've gone through everything, you figured out what is going on with them, and you know that they're in the right place to get help by you. What does it look like going forward?
So from there, we just, our next visit is really just sharing all the information with them that we found, and giving them recommendations and options. I think it's really important in that, that patients are educated as far as what's going on with their body. Again, it's a little bit different than other models in that it's like, oh, well, here, just do this. And they don't even know why they're taking what they're taking or what's it doing to their body, where we think it's different. We think you should know what's happening. You should know why, the best of our ability, and then give them options. Some people just want to feel a bit better and they want to be on their way, and other people really want to transform their health. And so we give them options. We talk about time. What does that look like? Cost. What does that look like? So they can make an educated decision. We're there to support them in whatever way they want to be supported. I always say it's your body, it's your health, it's your wallet. We're just here to tell you what we think is best, and then you decide from there.
Yeah, I mean, I know we've both run across this question, and I'm sure you have an answer for it, but most people still don't understand. And I'll get this question asked daily with new patients. I hear once you keep going to chiropractor, you have to go for the rest of your life.
Yes.
What is actually the best response for that from you?
Yeah, so for sure. I think I don't hear that as much as I used to. I used to hear it quite a bit, but now I think people are starting to think differently, meaning, it's like, well, of course, like, it's like saying, well, I went to the gym and I got fit, so now I don't have to go again. Well, that's absurd. So it is, I think once people really understand that chiropractic is not just about neck and back pain, and not in our office anyway, it's about the nervous system functioning at an optimum level. So of course we should check your nervous system on a regular basis. Of course you're going to still have poor posture, and you're going to be doing all the things that got you in trouble to begin with. So why wouldn't you do, we don't second guess taking our car for maintenance, getting an oil, getting it checked out. We get our teeth checked. So our nervous system is the most important system in our body. So why wouldn't we get it checked the rest of our life to handle those little problems before they become a crisis? So fortunately, I think people are understanding that more now. Of 25 years ago, no one knew or cared about wellness and prevention. And now people are like, hey, wait, my dad is limping along. I don't want to be like that. I want to be functioning better when I'm older. In fact, my dad says all the time, if I knew I was going to live this long, I would have taken better care of myself, So that's So, I think most people are taking that more seriously, but again, it's not just about, I would say over half of my patients that come in, they don't have pain. It's all about wellness and prevention for them. And so, and man, that's the way to do it, right? Why wait until you're in a complete health crisis to take care of your body?
Yeah, that's the difference. I mean, I know your office will work with people with there's different terminologies, but might be active care versus wellness or maintenance care. And that active care is you're correcting something. It's going to take more frequency. It's like going on a diet to lose weight. But once you hit that certain stage where everything's working right, it's just getting checked once in a while versus going 3 or 4 times a week. Or in your case, when you're high school, you probably went 5 times a week so you could have the car.
That's right. Like, I gotta go again now. That's great.
All right. So now the person is in your practice. They've decided to take a plan. What's the typical frequency? How long? I mean, I know it's more ballpark because everybody's different, but what would you say is the average you see in your office when somebody's going through, say, an active or corrective type of care?
Sure. Yes, you're absolutely right. Of course, it varies. And even when we're talking about a plan with a patient, we say, here is a ballpark. We use those words because we can say, based on your x-rays and your scans, what we expect your body to do. But of course, it depends on that person. What's their diet like, what's their stress level. And of course, that changes throughout care as well. So, I would say the average adult would start with 3 times a week. It's heartbreaking in that my kids that we started seeing in the beginning, they would come. I mean, they would be a different kid after 1 or 2 adjustments. And now that's just not the case for kids anymore. We have some children that have been so injured that they come in 3 times a week as well. So of course, not as long as adults, but we see a lot of kids with sensory issues and learning disabilities and things like that. And they just take more work. And so a lot of them are starting at 3 times a week as well, which is just, it didn't used to be that way, period. And now it's just what we're finding. We're finding like, oh, this little boy's not responding as fast as we expected. What's going on? And then it was like again and again and again. So unfortunately, a lot of our young kids have to start with 3 times a week as well. It all depends on them. We have scans that we do in our office, and it shows how the nervous system is functioning, how the muscles are functioning. And so it's really easy to see if they're progressing or they're not progressing. Again, we're not just basing it on pain. Kids aren't coming in with sciatica or low back pain. They're coming in with more health issues. Their organs aren't functioning properly, low immune system, or again, the sensory disorders. So that's kind of how we go. It's all going to depend on that person. A kid might do 3 times a week for 2 weeks and really their nervous system's functioning well. And then we just decrease frequency. So we do twice a week, once a week. Our goal used to always be, again, our goal was to have patients come once a month. They were feeling great. They were functioning great. They just wanted to stay at that optimum level of health. And the last year, most of our patients are coming twice a month. And again, everything we just talked about, from the craziness to the emotional stress, to the posture, all of that, that's just what we're finding. So again, it's all up to the person though, right? I mean, I have some patients that come twice a year. They're happy. We're happy. That's totally fine. There's no obligation. I know there are some doctors that it's like, you come, you do it my way or you hit the highway. And that's just not how we do. We just recommend what we think is best. And then, we go from there.
You give them options and let them choose.
Absolutely. What a concept, right?
Yeah. So, imagine that.
Yeah. I can tell you, like, I've been adjusted once a week for years, but I tell my patients I'm bent over and twisted all day long. So of course I take more work than the average person, but my kids, same way. They were wrestlers and football players. They got it. Well, sometimes they were getting adjusted 3 times a week because it's, football's like being in a car accident 50 times. So, I'll be wrestling too, honestly. But anyway, so it's really just whatever that person needs, whatever they're going through, based on what we're feeling, those are the recommendations we make.
Oh, that is so cool to be able to explain it that way, and making sure that our listeners understand that it's more about their choice versus once you go, you're like all of a sudden sucked into this vortex and you're not able to get out, and you're never going to feel good again without this. It's just, that's not the case. No,
it's kind of absurd. Like when people say like, oh, you're going to get addicted. That's not a thing. It's do people love feeling good and love, they feel this higher energy and they're functioning at a higher level, so they want to continue to feel that way? Of course. That's not an addiction. That is, hey, I feel great and I want to stay feeling great. Just like with exercise, just like eating fruits and vegetables. I mean, it's just that simple. So there's just been a lot of misinformation out over the years, and it's unfortunate. And when you're saying them making a choice, I think it's really important for them to know that it needs to be an educated choice, right? So a lot of times people think that if they have no pain, that their body's functioning at optimum level. And that's not the case always. We've all had friends, family members that they felt great and they dropped dead of a heart attack, or they find out they're full of cancer and they felt great, So it's again, not waiting until you have that major health crisis to get your spine and nervous system checked and take care of your body.
Oh yeah, that's amazing. So now you did coaching for me to help make sure that I was serving my patients well. And I know you've worked with a lot of other docs out there. So both directly and indirectly, how many people do you think you've helped? Because I mean, if you're helping out a doc that's all of a sudden seeing 200 patients a week, I mean, would you say it's up in the millions over 25 years?
I have, I have no idea. That's a great question. I mean, I think about, in preparing for this, I was thinking about, I mean, I couldn't even tell you how many actual spines I've touched myself over 25 years, right? But to think about that, and that was the whole point of getting into coaching, right? Is like exponential impact is what I call it. And it's like, I understand that at the table, I can only help the person in front of me. And chiropractic is, even some chiropractors don't fully understand what we have with our hands and how much we can impact people. And also, I think that in most of our schools, we're not taught how to communicate with people. We're not taught we're certainly not taught about business. And I had no idea anything about business. It was like, I'm just going to, Jim Parker said 100 years ago, if you take care of the people, the business will take care of itself. And I was like, I hope so. And it has worked out that way, because I think if you do take care of people with your heart, it will all work out. But we're not fully equipped when we come out of school. That's for sure.
So. Oh, no. We know how to diagnose, we know how to treat, but how to communicate and make sure you're running a business, it's completely different. That's a whole nother, you get a doctorate in business. So, I mean, there's a lot to learn out there. Now with this coaching now, because you like to help people, we talked about you bringing in a special type of coaching that you started not too long ago, called Creating You 2.0. Now, when you go on the website there, it's got a purplish hue background. It's got a butterfly up in the corner. It's got a person that's kind of frosted over in the background, and then their fist comes into focus. And on the fist, there's a ring that says, "I am badass."
Yes.
How does all this tie together with this new program you have, and the flowers and the butterflies and the purple, and then "I am badass" right in the middle?
Yes. So it all started when I got divorced, and several years ago I got divorced, and I recognized like very quickly, like I have a choice here. Like I can be sad and mad and bitter, or I can be empowered by this. And it can really, I recognized very early on, like this is a blank slate. Like I get to create whatever I want. I get to create the relationship I have with my kids, how I want to raise them. What do I want to be? What do I want to do professionally, personally, at all, And one of the quotes I have in my program is, your happiness is not only your choice, but your responsibility. And that's what I really want for people to know, whether it be chiropractors in their practice, because it's easy to say, oh, insurance and oh, this and oh, that, or, you can really empower yourself. And same thing personally. So the purple and the butterflies, that all really started out, it was all created for helping divorced women create their next level, their 2.0, because we're not victims in our life. That's just not true. And I noticed like people wanted to be so sad for me. And I'm like, I'm doing good. Like this, but they just, I was supposed to be sad. And so that's where it all started. And now it's morphed into coaching men and women, both in chiropractic and just in their personal lives. I feel like I really, whether I learned it over years or, I've been coached myself for 19 years, and I absolutely contribute my success to being coached all these years, and my relationship with my kids, everything in my life that is amazing is on purpose. I've created that intentionally. And I think sometimes we forget that we get to create our lives intentionally. I know we share a mentor, Larry Markson, and he taught me years and years ago that a lot of us live our lives based on mother, father, teacher, preacher. And so we're taught things by our moms, our dads, our preachers, our teachers, whether about ourselves, that we're smart, we're not smart, we're too fat, we're too thin, we're whatever, and by our society. And then also how the world works. Like, you should be a teacher, or you should be this, or you should be that. And we limit ourselves. And so that's the whole point of the 6-week program, is of the Creating You 2.0, is like, man, woman, child, whatever, what do you want out of your life? And let's remove those limiting beliefs, and then let's intentionally create what you want out of your life. And it's been so awesome. I mean, I still get messages from people that have just completely transformed their lives by this information, and they still use it today. I still use these techniques today, because those old tapes, again, I'm showing my age, but those old tapes could start playing again, and start limiting ourselves. So it's just morphed into, from 6-week online program. A lot of people want to even just do one-on-one coaching. They're like, yeah, I just want you to let's just get to the bottom of it. So it's been fun. It's again, that exponential impact is what serves my soul. But I just love helping people. Life's too short, man, and we waste so much time doing what other people want us to do and what other people want us to be, instead of like, hold on, hand on my heart, what do I want out of this life? And I think especially for moms, we think life is supposed to be about everyone else but ourselves. And that is not what we're here for.
Yeah, I think the ones that you brought up, the mother, father, preacher, teacher, people get to a point where they're worried about disappointing them. So they don't do the things that they want to do. And on the other point, I think people are afraid of failing, even if it's little failures, and people are afraid to go outside their comfort zone. Well, I do know that working with you, I made sure I went outside my comfort zone, and I did fail. It's wonderful.
Yes.
Now,
Awesome.
now you said you started with divorced women, and it's kind of morphed into more than that. When somebody signs up to do this type of coaching with you, what's it look like from that first type of questionnaire with you to setting up a program?
Yeah. So there's a couple options. So I have a website called connectwithsusanmitchell.com. And that is just, they can go out, and it's called a strategy session form. It's really quick and easy, like questions just to really even kind of get them thinking of like, what am I looking for? What is, and what triggered them to want to look at something. That gives me information to see of, is this something that, hey, let's plug them into the 6-week online program. I actually have one coming up November 9th, and where it's a group setting, it's online, it's super easy. We do record it for people that can't make it live, and just take them through the exercises, so it's so fun as a group to do. But then others, maybe they need a little more one-on-one and so forth. And so from that, we can set up one-on-one coaching. So the form is great, because it almost starts the coaching right off the bat. It's like, it makes you think about like, okay, what am I looking for here? And then, are we a right fit is pretty much it. So oftentimes I'll have a conversation with somebody and just like get their background. What are they looking for? What's the next level? What is their 2.0? Most people don't know. Honestly, that's the whole point of the program. But them knowing that they want a 2.0. And then we just go from there. Like what suits them best, so they can really create their own happiness.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that within this, you're going to do some sort of goal setting. And I know from my aspect, when I hear goal setting, I'm like, goal setting. I think if you look at it, some of those people that out there, if you look at it from a different way, it's not so much goal setting, it's more setting, what do I want? If you don't know what you want, how can you actually set up a plan to get it?
Yes, it's so true. And I've been working all my coaching clients right now. we've been running into this because, October is what we call goal setting month. And because for for 2022. So October is when you start thinking about, okay, what do I want my next year to look like? And what do I want to create? And it's so true in that I think a lot of people it just seems such hard work and cumbersome to figure out your goals and what do you want personally? And I'm like, oh man, no, like it should not be hard. It's literally just dreaming. Like you're just dreaming about being ridiculous of what, if I love the saying of, if there were no rules and I could not fail, what would my life look like? And even when you write that out, if you just journal for 2 minutes, you set a timer, you journal for 2 minutes, even in reading that the first time, you'll be able to see how much you're limiting yourself, right? Because we in our mind, we're automatically going, oh, you're not good enough for that. Oh, you're going to fail at that. Oh, that's too much. Oh, you don't deserve that. None of that is true, of course, but your mind, your ego is going to go there. And so it is, I call that person in my mind, Ethel. Ethel has all kinds of things. And so, so we let Ethel write for a bit and then we tell Ethel to be quiet. And we write again. And so it's just having fun and dreaming. Like that is it. And allowing yourself to dream again, right? What we were talking about before is we're so into, okay, well, I want to be able to pay my bills. Okay, well, let's go bigger than that. Like if there were no rules and you could not fail, like what would you do for a living? What would you do for fun? Like, let's think outside our little tiny Ethel box. And what do I want in my life? And dream, and then do set some little baby steps. We always say like, and I did this for so many years, like I want to get in shape. And so then I'm going to work out 5 days a week, an hour. Well, then I couldn't walk by the end of the week and I didn't work out again, so it's like, no, baby steps, if you want to get fit first day, okay, this weekend, I'm going to go buy some tennis shoes so I actually have something to work out in. The next week, it's, I'm going to do 15 minutes a day or 15 minutes 3 times a week, like those baby steps and whatever you want so it can be doable. And then before you know it, by June, you are rocking it, so and that applies to all aspects of our life.
Oh, yeah. Now just a quick tip for those of you that are either working with Dr. Susan or are going to be, this is not you writing something for a teacher to be graded. So it does not have to impress her. That's not what it's about. It's about you. That's the whole point of You 2.0. It's about you. So the stuff that you're going to write on there is about you. And she's here to help guide you to get to those things that you want.
Yes, it's such a great point because I do have that with coaching clients too, especially in the chiropractic world. They think like, well, I should want, and I did this too. I thought I should have to have this kind of practice or I'm not good enough. And it's like, no, we should have the practice that just, lights us up and turns us on. And same thing for our life. So that's a great, great point of it. That's the whole point, is pulling out of people, what do they want their life to look like?
Yeah. Take yourself out of the student role where you're getting graded and put yourself into the, what do I want? And it's amazing how many people don't really either know what they want or don't put themselves first.
Yes, it's so true. We're really kind of taught from a very young age that we're not even allowed, we're not allowed to truly have what we want. We've got to be successful. And what does that even mean? Like success looks so different to so many people, but oftentimes we adopt what success means to our parents when maybe it's making us miserable, so that's the fun part. That's the juice of it, right? Is like figuring out, okay, what do I want? Because you're right. We get stuck.
You got one life that we know of. What do you want to do with it? Do you want it to be draining and horrible, or do you want it to be the best it can be?
Exactly. And that is your choice. And that it's empowering and also maddening, when you're like, oh, wait, my happiness is my responsibility. Like I can't blame my husband and I can't blame my kids and I can't blame my boss. Like, oh crap, like, what am I going to do about this? So
yeah, when people talk about that word accountability and taking self-accountability, I think some people do with a grain of salt, and they still try to look at the circumstances instead of, well, what can I do to get me through this regardless of the circumstances, and become resourceful versus just throwing your hands up and forgetting about it.
Yes. Yeah. They always say, how many people will say like, well, when this happens, then I'll be happy, instead of I'm going to be happy no matter what happens. It's like, and that's where you create, your best life.
So any last minute gems you want to put out there for anybody listening?
Mm. I just want to say again, like your happiness is your choice, not only your choice, but your responsibility. And that's true for your health. That's true, again, so much, especially right now, we're bombarded constantly that we're not in control of our health, that we are victims, and that is just simply not true. You have choices, you have, the information is out there. So take charge of your health, take charge of your happiness, take charge of your life. Like, this is your responsibility, no one else's. So stop complaining, stop pointing fingers, go to the mirror, look yourself in the face and say, like, all right, what do you want? Like, and let's make this happen. And it really is, it is that simple. Is it going to be easy? No, maybe not, but it is, and get a coach. It doesn't have to be me. If I don't resonate with you, if we're not a good fit, that's okay. But I can't stress enough how much coaches have changed my life, because they don't let me get away with my BS. They don't get away with my stories of me limiting myself. And they really have helped me pull out of, like, what do I want? And I think that's invaluable.
All right. So for the people that live in the Bloomington Normal area, Illinois, how do they get a hold of you for your chiropractic services?
Probably easiest way would be, we have a phone number that they can text or call. It's 309-828-6200. Or our website, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, you can even just sign up for an appointment right there on the website. So either one of those are fine. I think that's good too. The website kind of gives you an idea of who we are. So again, I think just like a coach, chiropractic is very personal. So making sure, that we're right fit. And again, if we find that we're not, I'm happy to refer you to someone who is, but we'd love to see if we can help.
Okay, and what's the website?
Mitchell Family Chiro. So Mitchell, Mitchell, Family Chiro, CHIRO.com.
Okay. And now for anybody that's pretty much living anywhere and they want to look into getting coaching services from you so they can become the best you they can be, where do they go to start filling out that initial questionnaire?
Yeah, so the questionnaire is Connect with Susan Mitchell, again, 2Ls.com. They can go there, they can ask any questions, they can fill it out, and then I can contact them and we can see. Again, do we want to connect them into the 6-week online program? They can sign up just right away on the 6-week online program after they look at the website. That one is creatingyou20.com. And, so they can sign up for the 6-week online program just immediately if they want to do that, or if they want to see what's best for them, they can do the connectwithsusanmitchell.com.
All right, great. Thank you for doing this with us today. And I know you've helped a lot of people, and I know you still got a lot of fire under you to help a lot more.
That is true. Yes. But so great to see you. I'm so happy for you.
Oh, and thank you. And again, my name is Dr. Jason Alviene, and this is Structurally Sound.
The opinions expressed on this program are those of the guests and hosts and do not necessarily reflect those of webmasterradio.fm's management or sponsors. Any rebroadcast or redistribution without authorized consent of webmasterradio.fm is prohibited.